This is a true story. It happened right here in my town 2 years ago. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not going to find it in the news or anywhere like that because the police and the top people in this town were like so embarrassed that they weren't able to solve it that they covered everything all up. But if you come here and ask anyone, they'll all tell you the same thing that I'm going to tell you now. This story starts in my school.
I see something that doesn't make any sense at all. Talking about 17 kids in one classroom. What happened in that classroom? Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Look, I'm picking up a lot of emotion, and that's fine.
So you forgive me if I'm not particularly interested in hearing any more out of you.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another sweet, exciting episode of Sinister Frame Halloween 3 in a month and 3 quarters.
That's a bit of a tongue twister, that, actually.
Well, we keep changing the fucking,
The schedule.
the length of Halloween month. And was it Halloween? It was first Halloween month and a half. Now it's Halloween month 3 quarters. Now it's Halloween month.
In a few years' time, it'll just be Halloween every day of the week. Halloween all year.
Be easier.
Yeah.
All right, we're here to talk about boys. Zach Krager again. You hit it out of the park with Barbarian. Now we're here to talk the massive horror hit. And quite frankly, probably, and I might be misspeaking, but I don't think I am, this is probably the number one film of the year on most people's top 10 list.
It's the number one film of the year for me so far, and I can't see my mind being changed, but you never know.
You haven't seen the new Teletubbies movie.
I have, actually. It's called 28 Years Later.
That was terrible. We'll get to those ones soon. All right, so, yeah, a boy's back. I like this story where he had the script written and Netflix wanted it. And he decided he didn't want to go to Netflix because A, he wanted a theoretical release. But most importantly, he decided to go with New Line because they are the guys who seem to get horror right.
His script caused a bidding war within Hollywood, and Jordan Peele had basically sacked his company, or the ones, his agency or whatever
Monkey Paw.
Yeah, because they lost out. I'm so happy he didn't go to Netflix, Zach Krager, because they're shit. And I'm glad it got a theatrical release, 100%, because certainly deserves it and more. And yeah, I love that Zach Krager decided to go with New Line in the end because they had more horror sort of credo.
It's the House of Freddy built.
Yep.
Then you went watch this and researching it, and I couldn't believe I didn't catch this. His inspiration for this film was a movie that came out a few years ago called Prisoners. And this is shot, unreal when you think about it. Archer's character is pretty much Jake Gyllenhaal's and Hugh Jackman's character rolled into one. It's shot a lot like Prisoners in small town USA.
Magnolia is also a big influence on it.
What?
Magnolia is also a big influence on it.
I can see that. And kind of a disturbing fact, we're all trying to wonder why everyone in this film who's under a trance is running kind of like an airplane a little bit. And looking it up, he got the idea. There's a famous photograph. It's a very depressing and sad photograph.
Yes, I know what the one you mean.
And it's called Napalm Girl. Is the name of the famous photograph. And it's about a young girl. Well, it's a photograph of a young Vietnamese girl running from her village as it's being napalmed. And she's running out of there, and it looks like her arms are holding 2 bags.
Yes.
Is what it kind of looks like. And that's where he got the idea for how they run in this film. Yeah, definitely something to think about. Because if you know that photo I'm talking about, it's definitely...
It's a very famous photo. Yeah, I believe it's a award.
Yeah, it's very...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's iconic.
It's haunting.
At the same time, just haunting is the perfect word. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so we got $38 million budget. It's a much bigger budget than we got from Barbarian. But this little bad boy is taking in $267 million, and it's going to keep going. It just got released on 4K. I just ordered my copy. Yes. And I'll definitely give it a rewatch. Though I've watched it like 4 times, so I'm pretty good to go anyway.
I've watched it 3 times, twice in the cinema and then again on streaming for this podcast. I would say, just to jump back a bit, somebody said about 4K. That's something I am very much intentionally getting back into. Is although I have a load of physical media, I need to be buying physical media more because streaming's too easy, but it's also, well, you don't own the film. It's not the same. So
no, streaming's never the quality you get from actual software.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you go to HMV now, and it's starting to thrive a lot more thanks to people going in and buying records or albums, as you call them, whatever. And you go in, and I'm waiting in line. People are getting 4K movies, and so it's the reason why I'm not going to piss on Netflix. I won't, because I think Netflix has done some great stuff. But the reason I don't want movies to go to Netflix, because Netflix wants to own them. So that means we'll never get to see them on software.
Yeah.
Because they want people to go see them on their site and not go buy it and then not go to their site.
So then they're not released then on physical media. So yes,
no.
Support physical media people, physical books, physical films and music if you can.
I mean, Amazon gets it right. Amazon's going to release their stuff on physical media because there's going to be money there. But I think it's one of the reasons why Mike Flanagan left Netflix and went to Amazon.
Also, if you buy a film on a streaming site, you've paid your money, but at the same time, Amazon or Netflix or whatever can take it down off their streaming service. So you've lost your money, you've lost your film. Whereas if you have a DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever, you'll always have that.
Well, it's kind of not how it works. How it works is, I tried this on the podcast some time ago, but how it works is you don't own the film you're buying, okay? You're leasing it.
Yeah.
So let's say Netflix owns, say, Stranger Things.
Yes.
Right? And you decide you want to buy Stranger Things, the whole box set, through Netflix. We'll just say, I know you can't, but we're just making this up. And you have the whole box set. Well, Netflix decides to go under, and they're going to sell Stranger Things to Fox. Well, Fox now owns the rights. So that means you don't no longer hold that lease.
Yeah.
So they can remove that, and you'll have to go buy a whole new box set at Fox. And the big thing is, and this is where I stopped buying on Apple TV, is I was watching The American Office. I bought the whole box set. I love The American Office. Funniest show ever made. And they edited it.
I was just about to say that. They cut
They
them.
actually edited scenes to appease the woke people out there.
Not only that, they have removed entire episodes.
I haven't seen that, but I do see it. I'm sure it's going to come to that.
Oh, a certain series, it's basically treating adults like children. And that's, aside from it being censorship, but also it's basically saying, we're a bunch of corporate suits and we know what's best for you. And, but in reality, they're sort of running afraid of the social media sort of witch hunts, the mobs coming after them as well. But there's definitely that element of, we know what's best for you and we'll tell you we will decide what's offensive to you or not, which is absolute, talk about condescending. So there's a lot of elements going on there, but essentially buy physical media, people, because they can't do that to you with physical media.
So Apple said that we don't own the films. They can be taken away at any time and be edited whenever they want.
Yes.
So, and the sound quality is 300 times better on software. Picture quality is better. So start buying the stuff, guys. It's worth it. It looks cool on the wall.
Exactly. It's collector's items,
All right. Went a little off rant there, but we're back here with weapons. Again, we got a small cast, which I like. We got Justine, played by Julie Gardner. Marcus, played by Benedict Wong. Archer, played by the guy I always like to see, Josh Brolin. We got Gary, very small cameo.
Yeah.
We got James, played by the scene stealer, Austin Abrams, who's going to be the lead in the new Resident Evil movie that Zach's doing right now.
Yes.
Looking forward to that. You got Paul, played by Alden Ehrenreich. We know him as young Han Solo. We got Gladys, scene stealer, Amy Madigan.
Yep.
And we got very good child actor, very surprised here, Alex, played by Carrie Christopher.
I mean, I'm a big critic of generally a lot of, modern media and modern films and stuff. But I have to say, something has happened in the last few years where child actors have all of a sudden got better, especially in horror films.
We just talked about that with Black Phone.
Yeah. So fair play.
All right. So, and even the opening, how we're kind of reintroduced to the trailer that we saw to get us into the seats. And that's Scarlett Shur, who's the narrator of it, the young kid who's the narrator.
She's very effective, actually, as a narrator.
She's very creepy little tone there, but she kind of guides. It's a nice data dump.
Yes.
You don't want to overstay its welcome. We kind of got the idea from the trailer. She's just bringing it. This is more of an extended version of that trailer to kind of let us know that these kids have disappeared. 17 kids have disappeared at 2:17 in the morning.
And it sets it up perfectly, the mystery.
And Alex is the only one who hasn't. What's going on? So the film is so fun. The film is told through different eyes. You got Justine's version, not Justine's version, Justine's story. You got Marcus's story. You'll get Archer's story. You'll get James' story. You'll get Paul's story. And then it all comes together with Alex's story. That's pretty much how this film works. Told a lot like the golden boy of this kind of grab bag genre, which would be Pulp Fiction.
Yes, it does. But even come back even further, there's the likes of Rashomon, and it's not a new thing that Tarantino invented, but certainly he sort of put it on the map in the 90s. This type of storytelling, chapter type storytelling,
or the ending of Clue.
I haven't seen Clue in years, so
it was fucking classic. You guys want to see
Tim
classic?
Curry?
Tim Curry, Clue.
Yeah,
fucking hilarious.
I watched it on TV years ago, I think.
If you own the Blu-ray,
the physical
you
media,
get all four endings. You get all four endings.
Well,
they filmed they were very smart. They filmed four endings. So you went to the theater to see it. You might have got one different ending. So you wanted to go see a different ending, you had to go to another show.
Well,
and you might have still got the same ending. It's very fun, great, clever marketing idea. But when you buy the physical media, it intertwines the four endings together, and it kind of wraps everything up. It's kind of where I was going.
There's an old Amicus horror film from the 70s called The Beast Must Die, which should really be called The Alsatian Dog Must Die. But it has a werewolf break, where, again, something similar, where you have to decide, who's the werewolf, and there's all these different characters. I think Michael Gambon's one. Stars Peter Cushing. It's actually a really fun Amicus film. So there's something similar going on there, too.
Like we mentioned, his choice in music's the movie kind of opens up with the George Harrison's Beware of Darkness. Brilliant. Nice little setup. Yeah. We quickly get the idea that Alex's family is the core here.
Yeah.
But then we just cut to Justine.
Yes.
It's funny. In watching this for the first time when I watched it, I hated Justine's character. She's having an affair with a married man or someone who's engaged. She's an alcoholic and a boozer, and she feels no pity. She seemed to have no remorse for what was going on. Very emotionless is the perfect word. But when you see it again, like you mentioned in the last podcast with Barbarian, this film has replayability. And when you rewatch it again, you kind of understood where the Justine character was going.
Yes.
And these little side stories, because there's so much going on, you will miss little things. So my initial watch, Paul and Justine are vile characters. I did not like them. But when you see the ending of the film, and if you haven't, spoiler alert, Paul gets it. And the ones who get it kind of deserve to get it.
This is the thing with Justine. Justine's an alcoholic, and it's beautifully written and beautifully played, or very realistically played. I think, at her core, she's a good person, but due to her alcoholic mindset, she is making some terrible life choices. For example, the affairs and stuff. She's also an enabler, where Paul, the cop, is also an alcoholic. Yeah. She gets him off the wagon, which is really like bad shit to do, just for her own selfish reasons. But alcoholics are selfish. That is part of the condition. You become completely selfish, where the alcohol and getting the alcohol is the number one priority. You would walk over burning coals to get it, and you will lie and cheat and all sorts. So at her core, she is a good person. So is Paul, but they are just alcoholics in that alcoholic mindset. I'd say Paul's more sympathetic though, but by the end you're sort of sympathetic towards Justine as well. This film is about alcoholism through and through.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's written by Zach, and he's 10 years sober.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
good on him.
It's one of those things that he wrote. It's probably a passion project a little bit here.
Oh yeah.
But I don't care. I don't, because I think the Paul character is vile. Don't like him at all.
Why not?
And we'll get into it. And I don't care about that they're using the alcohol as an excuse to be what they become. Now, Justine, I'll give you, because we talk about arcs a lot here. She has one. But the whole it's kind of tough. We're not going to dig into each story.
Yes.
We're just going to talk about each character, okay? If you want to see how the stories play out and how they intertwine, go see the film. We can't really explain it. Won't be doing it justice. We'll just talk about the characters themselves as we're talking about their
It would be like
story.
a 5-hour podcast if I had to go into every single detail.
So, yeah, we found out, it kind of opens up when people are questioning that why is, it's kind of silly because, come on, what's she going to steal? How is she going to steal 17 kids?
But it's a sort of obvious sort of thing you would jump to in terms of, she's a new teacher to this school and all of a sudden 17 members of her class go missing. So I can understand it. It mightn't be the most logical when you really think about it, but she is sort of being scapegoated.
Well, I think my favorite character, Archer, is he gets up in the town hall and he goes, "What do you know?" He doesn't say, "What did you do?" He didn't say, "You took them all." He doesn't. He's got his little sense up there. He just wants to know, what have you been teaching them? What that makes more sense to question that rather than her actual actions, because there's no way she kidnapped 17 kids. They just want to know what she's teaching them for them to go off on their own like this.
I actually love the joint arc of Archer and Justine, how they start off as basically sworn enemies, but by the end they become, they reach that understanding and actually become sort of buddies.
Yeah, that's near the end there, but yeah. So I do like, that's why I kind of like the Archer's character. He just wants rhyme and reason. And
but he's also an obsessive in his own way. He's not an alcoholic, but he has his own obsessions.
Yeah, but this is a reasonable obsession. This guy is a meltdown now. He has this construction business. He's fucking up orders and so forth. He's more invested in finding his kid, and rightfully so. Where, to me, the Justine and Paul excuse, to me, isn't an excuse. And same thing with James, because he's a druggie. We're all supposed to be, oh, no, I don't. Maybe that's me just being unsympathetic, but they're coming off as unsympathetic.
They come off,
and that's the problem I have. They're selfish. James, you see it quite a bit that they're selfish. Now they do a little humorous with the James character, because he's kind of, when he's talking to his brother and he needs to borrow some money, and he's trying to, as he's stealing people's bags and stealing little kids' tablets and trying to sell them and so forth, they try to put a little humor in there to kind of make you a little sympathetic for him. I don't. And especially the Paul character with how he treats Donna, and how you see Donna's dad treats him very nicely. He's Ed, I believe it's Ed, the sheriff.
Yes.
The chief. He treats him, played by Huss, who I like to see. That's a good character. And Paul just mistreats all of them. And it's not his alcoholism that does that, because quite frankly, he's sober until he sees the enabler, as you call her, Justine again, who gets him off the wagon. But
at the same time, I don't want to get too heavy in the whole alcoholic mindset, and I'm not justifying bad behavior. At the same time, it is so realistically played and so very well rounded, because obviously Krieger is writing from his own personal experiences. So while the Paul character is sober for most of the film, he still is within he's a dry, drunk, alcoholic mindset. So he's making these totally selfish decisions and life choices. So at the same time, I'm not defending it, but I'm sort of understanding it, if you know what I mean. And I think it is bang on with the writing. In terms, they are rounded human characters.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's where I can see where he got the idea from Prisoners.
Yeah. I haven't seen Prisoners, by the way.
Jesus. This is Paul Dano, Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman. I mean,
I like Paul Dano a lot. Yeah.
it's just great cast.
I'll have to check it out.
But and then when you in each story, as they get each character, and I've noticed this myself. Justine ends up. She has this obsession with finding Alex and to talk to him to find out what's going on because she wants to find out what's going on. Of course,
yeah,
rightfully so. So when she finally gets to Alex's house and she sees the newspapers on the windows and she sees the parents just comatose on the chair there, boom, she begins to have nightmares. And in that nightmare, she has a Gladys jump scare when Gladys is on the ceiling and she panics and gets scared. Then when we see Archer's story, Archer is now investigating at the same time Justine is, and this Salvador story is kind of intertwined. But once he starts getting closer to how he figures out when the kid runs, they're going to point A to point B, they're going somewhere, he starts dreaming. And then he's introduced to Gladys from a jump scare. This is kind of where these jump scares
in the bed,
come from.
yeah.
It's the same thing with James. James is getting closer because he found the kids in the basement when he was trying to rob their house.
Yes.
So now he's closer to figuring out what's going on. He's introduced to Gladys in the woods when he wants to shoot up.
Yeah, really creepy visual scene that when she's in the woods waving over at him. It's, I would say as well, just going back to what we talked about in the Barbarian podcast, the jump scares here with Gladys in the beds and stuff, they make total sense for the story. They're not cheap and they're not just done for the sake of it. They actually make total sense within the story and they have a point. And they work very well as jump scares at the same time.
You've got, so each segment, you got to kind of watch a couple times. You'll catch the parallels, the similarities that even though they're at each other's throats or opposite sides of the spectrum, they're kind of living the same. They're heading both in they're all heading in the same direction.
Yeah, ultimately, yes.
Yeah, and that's really what I like about it. And it's smooth. It's not like, what? Wait a minute, what? Huh? What? Wait a minute, what? It's just smooth. And it puts a smile on your face, like when Justine's story ends and it cuts to Archer, and his scene's being retold, but from his point of view at the town hall, where we're introduced to Justine. And then we take place, instead of leaving the town hall with Justine, we're leaving the town hall with Archer.
And there are very subtle tweaks as well to certain scenes, again, like Tarantino did with the diner scene in Pulp Fiction, because we're seeing it from a different person's perspective. There's a couple of wee slight changes, but it's all totally, they're not mistakes. They're not continuity errors. It's intentional, and it's basically relating to how people, like say me and you're having a conversation, or we are out somewhere. It's about how people will see things and remember things, more importantly, in a slightly different way, even though they're the exact same events. So there are, again, very, very clever, and I didn't notice them really until the rewatches.
I like a lot of the little different shots in the film. Like when Justine, before her story ends, she's falling asleep in her car, and she's looking at, obviously, Alex's house. When Justine is falling asleep, has fallen asleep, and she's looking over Alex's house, and the mother, who's still in trance state, comes out. You see blackness as the door opens, and then she comes out and she's waving something as if to come over to attack her. And you just see a body approach the side of the car as she's still sleeping. The camera still stays on the passenger side of the car, but then we hear the car door open in the back. She's in the car now. Very creepy and misleading. And then you see these scissors. All they did was cut her hair, because we know she's going to be probably tranced or get voodooed or whatever Gladys's MO is.
Yeah.
It's just creepy, that whole shot.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of that.
And what's
a lot of that.
Very, very creepy, and it's quite subtle. The way the front door opens, it's a shot that's repeated several times, but there's something very unsettling about the slow way that front door opens, and then with the blackness inside, it's just really effectively done.
Which, again, is what he used in Barbarian.
Yes.
With the hallway door at the very end of the hall. It's opening, then it's not. He's got this thing for doors.
It works well. Very well.
So, yeah. I like the little things when we cut to the Paul story. And Paul and James are kind of the two. Paul and James are kind of like the same thing with Justine and Archer. And a little rivalry there. And so, but I do like when Paul gets pretty much busted for cheating on Donna.
Yeah.
And I like the character of Donna, and I do really like the character of Toby Huss. Like I said, he's the chief, but Toby Huss is Donna's father. But there's some scenes where Paul punches James. Won't go into details, but he punches him, and it's on camera. So he confides to the chief because, it's soon to be his son-in-law pretty much. And he says, listen, don't say anything. The tape will erase itself eventually. Just be good. Don't blah, blah. It kind of has his back.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But when Donna pretty much throws him out, cheating on him, there's a scene because there's a couple scenes where Paul is walking past the chief's and, gives him a nod. Hey, boy, what's up? Nod, nod. But when Donna kicks him out, it's the one time he walks past the chief's door and the chief just looks at him like he's going to kick his ass.
The tension, yeah. And it's very well played.
It's just a look.
Yes.
Just a look.
Yeah, that's all there needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had such great chemistry for that. All it took was one little look. That chemistry is gone.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Paul is having the absolute worst day of his life. In fact, again, once he falls off the wagon with Justine, his life goes to absolute shit and hell. For a lot of it's his own fault, obviously, but yeah, a lot of it isn't his fault. It's actually Aunt Gladys's, but we'll get to that soon enough. What about Marcus? I like Marcus.
Yeah, this one sucked because Marcus, I think his partner was Terry.
Yeah.
Marcus was the peacemaker of the whole group. And you see his story. And again, because he's the principal, Gladys shows up. She's taking over the family. We won't go into details. But what's nice about it is anybody who gets close to Gladys in some way, like as I just mentioned with Archer, finding out the direction of the kids, and with Justine, finding the house and seeing the parents in trance, from James robbing them, seeing the kids in the basement. Gladys is there to fix things. So
for ourselves.
Yes, and then Gladys goes to see the principal, but the principal's got, I can't talk to you. I have to talk to the parents because Justine has called me in regards to some neglects going on, and the parents need to come in. And obviously, so Gladys kind of needs to fix this. And so she shows up at his house. And let me tell you about Amy Madigan. I love Amy Madigan, and I love her husband, Ed Harris. They've been together for years and years and years. And they're always scene stealers for me, especially Ed Harris. I think Ed Harris is one of the most underrated actors ever. But her performance, she did a movie called Field of Dreams.
I remember it.
It's with Kevin Costner. I love her in that movie. And she's kind of veered off. She's still there, but didn't hold up the success as Ed Harris still has. And that take away from her at all, because I like Amy Madigan. But I tell you what, not seeing her for a while, I'm seeing her in this film. I love the fact she can play fucking batshit crazy, fucking funny as hell, to creepy, to downright diabolical and disturbing within a matter of a minute.
If she isn't nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor or Actress,
well, she will be.
If she's not, then yeah, I mean, I don't take the Oscar serious anyway, but it'll just confirm their bias against horror.
Yeah.
She is absolutely a scene stealer here, and like you say, she can go from funny to disturbing to like something out of the Coen Brothers film, quirky, all in the same scene. She is fantastic here, and the character is just unforgettable. I would say there's so many sort of allusions here. I got vibes whenever she isn't wearing the wig of the witches, the version of the Roald Dahl book from 1990.
Yes.
Yeah, the way the witches, they take their wigs off and stuff, and that. Angelica Houston, actually. So, I get that, but there is, so much going on here in terms of references and stuff and homages and Pied Piper, Hansel and Gretel, you're going back, way back. Yeah. But no, she deserves to be nominated for all sorts of awards.
I like, you will piggyback on that. We can't go through all of them because this movie's beautifully shot. There's a scene where Alex is never introduced to Gladys, but she comes when he's in bed.
Yes.
And she's coming because she says to the family, I have cancer and he's somebody, pretty much take care of me. And so his first introduction is that scene you were talking about where he, don't bother her, she's sleeping. And as a kid, as you do, you're curious. And he opens the door a bit and you see the wig on the dresser, her batshit crazy wig. And then you from the point of view of Alex, you turn and there's the bed, and there she is, bald and looks very witchery, actually, like you said. And then she's just staring at him. Oh, it's a great creepy shot.
Yeah.
The Alex sequence is nice, and I can't stand kids, but I really felt for this kid, Alex. I really felt sorry for him. He's bullied as a kid. His parents.
He's bullied in school by Archer's son.
Oh, yeah. Which you can kind of see because Archer you can see him being a bully.
The aggression that he gets from Archer, yeah.
But so things like that, I wouldn't have caught. I didn't know that. I didn't catch that. So that's what I'm saying. Replayability value of his work. And so, but when you finally get to see Alex's story, you meet the parents, because we only know the parents as being tranced.
Yes.
And at this point, but then you meet them, they're so lovely, they're so nice to the kid. And he's like, I love you, Dad, I love you too. And then he's going to school, he's being picked on, and then he leaves the school and nobody's there to pick him up. It's hard. I felt really hard. I felt so sorry for this kid because you know what's coming, because you get to his story kind of late in the film, so you know what he's about to go through.
Plus, he's being harassed by Justine, who has her own reasons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then when he gets home, Gladys pretty much, tells him how this is going to work. And little things she does where she tells him, if you don't do what I say, if you don't keep this quiet, you don't tell anybody about your parents, this is what I'll do. And she puts a little spell, and they start stabbing themselves in the faces in front of him. But the kid is so smart because his reflexes are really good. As Gladys is coming up to him and just to touch him, he swoops her hand away, almost like she's a bully.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he came from school, and he knew right away he'd take water and throw it on his dad's face to kind of wake him up.
Alex becomes the hero here. Alex saves the day.
Yeah, he's a very smart kid.
Yeah, and again,
let's piggyback on the smartness. When everything goes to shit, and the kids are in the basement, right?
Yeah.
And he how does he know to cast? I know he knows kind of the casting of a spell because he saw her do it, how Gladys do it. But how does he know to have the kids go after her?
Simply by watching her spells. He's been watching her, and there are other scenes where you see him watching her doing the spells. So it's basically he is turning her spell upon her. So it's basically through watching her, because don't forget that he's spent a month in the house with her. So he has, and again, it goes back to the whole alcoholism parable thing, because he then becomes like the caregiver, as many children tragically do to alcoholic parents, although obviously it's just a metaphor here, where he's like the caregiver to his own parents.
Well, instead of alcohol, it's soup.
Yes, I no, but yes, but what happens is sadly with alcoholic parents, the children end up being the caregivers and looking after the parents instead of the other way about. So that's what that's sort of playing into. Yes, so he spent a month basically with Gladys, so he's been watching her and watching her spells, and he knows basically what to do. Yeah, I mean, what is he, 7 or something? That is a bit. There, I think this is an absolutely fantastic film. But
like I said, he knew through the water on the dad's face to see if he's okay. He's more protective of himself just because of the way he's bullied in school, and he's not going to take it at home. So he's kind of
play his cards
and he's
closely.
protective of his parents as well. I would say, see the scene where they're stabbing themselves with the forks, through her spell. What is even creepier than that actual physical action is whenever she turns around to Alex and says, I can make your parents eat each other if I want. And again, playing into the whole Hansel and Gretel thing again. It's just brilliantly handled all round. If I really wanted to nitpick, there are a couple of things overall that I could nitpick, but generally it's a very tightly scripted and well told story.
You have when Marcus is, they're so lovely, Marcus and Terry, the couple. And I gotta admit, their fucking dinner is brilliant. All hot dogs. What the fuck?
Apparently, I didn't know this, but I looked, whenever I was doing my research, I seen something that says apparently that's a reference to a recurring comedy sketch that Zach Krieger was a part of with his troupe comedy TV series, where there was a hot dog guy character who all he ate was hot dogs. So apparently that is a reference to that.
Okay. I was wondering, where the fuck do these guys get, where do they put it? They're all pretty skinny.
Yeah, it's a reference to hot dog, which I haven't seen, a comedy character that Zach Krieger was involved in.
So when she shows up at Marcus and Terry's, and Terry just for a moment, they're so likable and caring,
unbelievable.
And Marcus is from just the film itself, but Terry's just introduced. And when Marcus goes off on him and smashes his head, pretty much headbutts him to death.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
it is the most brutal death.
But again,
period to me.
Like Barbarian, it's not a gore fest, but whenever the violence does happen, it's hardcore, which gives it even more power.
When the bond happens, when Justine and Archer finally bond, and it's where after Marcus loses the plot and pretty much Archer saves her and he comes out of the hospital because he's been cut, Justine goes, thank you. And this is where these guys decide we got to figure. Now there's a scene where in Archer's sequence when he's kind of dreaming, he's trying to follow the trail of the kids, and the trail leads him back to his house. But on top of his house, it says weapon.
The gun.
There's like an M16 on the top, floating on top of the house. Now, is that to say that your child has become a weapon?
Well, basically, again, I know you don't like this, where it's left to the audience's own interpretation. But my interpretation of that, it has been discussed a lot, but my personal interpretation of it is that, yes, basically, Aunt Gladys, no, not Justine, but Aunt Gladys has weaponized the kids and turned them into weapons. It's dream logic where our dreams speak to us in symbols. So it's basically his subconscious trying to tell him that your kid and all the rest of the kids have been weaponized by Gladys.
Yeah, it's a threat. It's like, come near me, I'll set your kid on.
A lot of people, like professional critics and all, have said, oh no, this is obviously an allusion to real life school shootings. But Zach Krieger has said this film is not about school shootings at all.
Oh,
it's about alcoholism.
No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's about I weaponize your kid, don't fuck with me.
Yes, that particular
That's
scene.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the ending's just so fucking fun. I mean, you got all these great stories, and it's little,
it's absolutely
you follow these characters to the duration of this film, and it's just so fun to watch. And then the ending just goes batshit crazy, especially the fight with Paul and Justine. She's using a potato peeler to kill his face. It takes pretty much two gun blasts to kill him. You've got the James and Archer fight are hilarious. He won't stop jumping around, and it finally takes
and then the kids
Justine to shoot him. Jeez, and then the kids going batshit crazy. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, this is like the perfect film for me in so many ways. I mean, it's clever, it's funny, it goes batshit crazy over the top at times. It's genuinely creepy and horrific. It ticks all the boxes for me. I fucking loved it.
I love how they don't really give you what the outcome. They kind of say that Alex's parents are permanently institutionalized.
Yeah,
Alex is pretty much in foster care with a good mother, and the little kid, the kid's narrating again, and she says, "Well, some of the kids are starting to talk."
Yeah,
And that's
again
it.
the brilliant narration, but she also says that about Alex's parents that they are still getting fed soup, but not by Alex anymore. So again, it's the dark humor. It's just
they don't say institutionalized, but by just that comment,
yes,
that's what it means
exactly, and it's darkly humorous as well. And I mean, for me on a personal level, this has everything. It has horror, it's creepy, funny. Goes completely over the top, but it's a brilliant story at the same time. And there's those sort of references to sort of, the past films and all that there. But again, putting his own stamp on it. It's, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this is a good one. Looking forward to his next work. He's doing a grounded version of Resident Evil.
That could be interesting.
It should be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because you can take a little bit of you can take a little bit of Barbarian in the tunnels there, and you can kind of see where Zach Cregger can do with it. He's not doing a massive budget with it.
Good.
It's going to be like the original Resident Evil, where it's more haunted house based.
Yeah.
Where the original
the game
the pandemic took place.
Yeah.
I hope it's like that. I don't know. I can't speak for what he's written, or if it's for another script, another company wrote it. But if it's anything like the game, it's a haunted house with ghouls and
zombies,
ghosts,
and
you have to, behind the mirror, is that really a mirror? It's a house of horrors.
I think it's in very safe hands. And I mean, I'm not a gamer. I've never played the game. I know the films, but not that well. But I do know them to a certain extent. But I think it's in safe hands, and I'm looking forward to his take on it. And I think it will be quite unique.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do it 3 for 3. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Should be interesting, but we'll see. All right, we're going to wrap this one up. Definitely go check it out. I'm sure you've already seen it. Next up, we are going to be doing The Long Walk, Stephen King's little independent hit. We'll be checking that one out. And then Suspiria, maybe Frankenstein. We're working it out. Trust us.
And then a Christmas Hallmark movie for Ciaran.
Again, you're the one who picks them, not me.
But that is a complete lie.
You sent me 4 pictures, and you said, "Oh my God, I think I have it."
The complete opposite is true, people.
Yeah, whatever. You want the pumpkin harvest, whatever it's fucking called, or something. And you said, "I love pumpkins and I love romance, and this is a perfect fit for me." That's what you said.
I'm looking forward to the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Give us a shout at CitizenFrame_podcast, and of course, Facebook. That's all we have. We're going to end this one. You take care of yourselves. Talk soon.